Welcome back to the workshop. And on the bench today back on the bench, I should say, is this 70s Crestwood guitar that I did an episode or did a video on. If you go back, I don't know, 3-4 videos, however many, just a few videos back, and you'll see did a setup and some other things on this guitar. And since that time, had mentioned a couple of things in that video that were, I guess, somewhat problematic with this particular guitar, and so it's been decided we're going to do a couple of more things with it. So again, it's the 70s Crestwood guitar model 2064, and again, all I know about it, I actually found a web thing and emailed somebody from that was making comments on Crestwood guitars. So, but again, if you know anything about these guitars, the only thing I know about it, it was purchased back in the early to mid 70s from a music store in Dearborn, Michigan area, I think is what I remember on that. So anyway, here's what we're going to do. If you remember, and I'm just going to throw the capo on here again, and one of the issues, let me just give you a little different angle here, and I've got my 10 thou feeler gauge, which is what I like for neck relief, and if I check that at the 7th fret, it's pretty, especially on this, I almost have to force, in fact I do have to force the feeler gauge underneath the low E string here. So it's really tight. And it just, and it's not, I mean, it does have, depends, if you play like I play, and you play kind of hard. If you play like I play, then it does buzz and fret a little bit. And so the owner has decided, my recommendation, and the owner's decided that going to try, because these are Elixir custom light strings, which I think, if I'm correct on this, the bottom or the low, let's see, the thinner 3 strings, if I phrase this correctly, the thinner 3 strings are from like a set of 11s, and then the top 3 are from a set of 12s. So that's how the gauges kind of measure out. Well, this being a dreadnought guitar, and I did a good inspection of it and all of that. There's nothing loose, anything like that, and this guitar's been stable for a long time. Again, it's from the 70s, so what we're going to try to pull this. The neck has an issue where it's bent the opposite way of what you normally see an old guitar. An old guitar is typically like the happy face. It's like this shape, and I'm exaggerating, but on this guitar you've got back bow. I mean, it's bent the opposite way. It's like this, and it should be more like this. So, and loosening off the truss rod doesn't help. So it's basically loose, and it's not a two-way rod. It's just one-way truss rod. So otherwise we could just turn it the other way and straighten it out. So what we're going to try is putting on a heavier gauge string. We're going to go and put on these are Elixir mediums, so they're 13 to 56s, and I'm going to put these on and see if that will, with a little more tension, will allow us to get a good neck relief measurement there. And plus, this guitar being a dreadnought body and all of that, with a good setup, 13s are really playable on these guitars. So I'm not worried about putting too much tension. It's not a small body triple O or something like that we're going to try to put too much tension on and cause an issue structurally. So that's one thing we're going to do is we're going to swap these strings. The other thing we're going to do, and I think I mentioned it in the last video and I forgot to do it, is we're going to put on a strap button, because there's a strap button on the butt end down here, but there's no strap button, which is unfortunately kind of common on a lot of guitars, especially guitars like this that don't have electronics in them. But even a lot of them that do don't have a strap button here. So, and you'll see sometimes strap buttons get put here, and I don't like that because the guitar can fall forward. I like to put them here on the neck, and I'll show you that. I've shown you that in another video, but I'll show you that little process again. I'm going to put a strap button there. And then the other thing that we're going to do, so that's two things we're going to do. The other thing we're going to do is the owner would like to be able to plug this guitar in and have it playable. And so I've got this. This is a Duncan Performer, and it is a sound hole pickup. And it's kind of one of these interesting ones that apparently when Seymour Duncan made it, they decided, okay, we're going to run this on the outside of the guitar, and just there's your 1/4 inch to plug it in. What we're going to do is actually, and this mounts, let me put you back on the overhead, maybe be a little easier for you to see it. It'll mount in this, it's a sound hole pickup, so it mounts here, somewhere in that vicinity, like that. Can you see that? Bring it up to you. So it'll mount something like that, but instead of this cable running on the outside, I'm actually going to bring this around and kind of give myself a little bit of room there. But we're going to cut this, and we're going to put this is a Switchcraft 1/4 inch jack, and we're going to cut off this 1/4 inch connector here, this cable. We're just going to snip that off, and we're going to wire it to the jack, test it, and then we'll go drill a small hole down here and mount the jack so you'll be able to plug it in. I've done this on did this on my own Yamaha 12 string, and it works really well. Now this is a passive pickup, which means it doesn't have a battery in it or anything, so you have to run it through something that can provide a little bit of power, a preamp kind of a thing. So and that output jack, we'll put that somewhere over in here. I'm going to measure over from the tail pin center area here about 4.5 inches or so, and just put the hole there. And I'll start with a small hole, and I'll show you how to do that, but I'm going to put some tape on here. We'll start with kind of a small hole, and then I've got a reamer just so we don't do any damage. Now the issue with this is that on the sound hole pickup, it's got screws that go through the top. I don't know if you can see that, but there's a screw here, and then there's a pad here that protects the top of the guitar, and then on the back side the screw goes into, there's this plastic piece. Well, one of the plastic pieces in the screw is missing for this other side. So let me pause you real quick. I need to get the strings off the guitar first thing, and then once the strings are off, I'll bring you back and show you what we're going to do. We got to do things, let's see, we can do things in order. First thing we're going to deal with, because it just going to take the most amount of time, is getting the pickup installed. So I'll get some tape back here and get this marked out. We're going to drill a hole and try to bring you along for some of that. So I'll be right back with you. Okay, back with you. I got the strings off. The other thing I forgot to mention is I pulled out the saddle. It's a plastic saddle, and I am going to put in fact I've already fit it. I just took a few minutes and fit it. It's a nice snug fit down in there. So with a bone, we're going to replace that plastic saddle with a bone saddle. So I've already done that. I've got other videos on that. Okay, back with you, and finish that little bit of kit there so you can see the two pieces next to each other. And then those will go on the back side of there's the pickup. So they'll go on the back side here, and it's pressure fit up against the guitar. So yeah, there's that little bit of kit out of the way. So zoom back out there. And let's see what to do next. We'll set those little pieces off to the side along with the screws. And then I think next is to position this guy here. Decide. I did test this, by the way. I don't think I did it on camera, but just to make sure the thing worked. Plug it in the amp here for you. So got it plugged in. It does work. So there we go. So we're going to do away with most of this wire, and probably, let's see, it's kind of just approximate where it's going to sit. It's going to sit about there, and then we need about, we'll give ourselves a little bit, not much. We don't want much slack inside, bouncing around inside the guitar, but we need a little bit. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off right about there. And then we'll strip those leads back and put it on the output jack and test it. And then we're going to drill a hole, mount the output jack, and then we're done. All right, let me grab cable stuff out of my way here. Plug that in. Where's the other? Whoops, wrong end. That end should go in here. That's it. Turn the amp on. And yeah. Stop buzzing. It's just being super noisy because I don't have it soldered. That's all. See? You guys love that sound on the video, don't you? So, alright, I need to pause you one more time. I need to heat up the soldering iron and solder those two wires on there. Okay, back with you really quickly. Got the jack soldered up, and just to test it, plug it in there, turn on the amp, and it does work, and it's nice and quiet, all of that. So all of that buzzing and everything before was just because I was holding the wires up and didn't have them soldered and all of that. So we're good there. And like I said, I'm going to take a measurement, and let me put some, I'm going to use some tape. So grab one piece of tape here. Let's see, I'm going to go, and I'm going to just approximate center line and go about 4.5 inches, which is going to put the output jack right about there. So I'm going to put a piece of tape just right across that area, and one should be good there, and let's see, I'm going to use the marker just because I can see it a little better. And let's do a mark from, sorry, gotta have my head in the way, sorry about that. Let's do 4.5 there. So there's 4.5. We need to get a halfway mark here. At 4.5, so I need basically roughly 2.25. So let's see, we'll move to about right there. That, boys and girls, you can see, I don't know if you can see that X. Zoom in a little bit. See the X? That's going to be our spot for putting our hole in the guitar. I'm going to leave you kind of zoomed in here, but just so you know what I'm doing. Zero out the calipers. Let's see, I'm trying to get a measurement here. About 350, I'm at 353 thousandths. So we want to be quite a bit smaller than that with a drill bit. Alright, I got a bit that's 3, nope, you can't even see that. Got a bit that's, still probably can't see it with this lighting. I got to do something in that corner there for lighting. 309. So we're going to do that. Let's first get a smaller bit and actually mark the center so the drill doesn't slide around. I like to do that. It's probably not 100% necessary, but if I put a divot in there like that, that point of the drill bit there will sit down in there, and yeah, it won't move around. Alright, and I'm just going to do this with the hand drill. Really no other way to make that happen. So here we go, and let's see if I can, I'm not sure I can do this in such a way that you're going to be able to see. Maybe if I, let's see, zoom back out on that camera. Maybe if I put you here on the overhead, you can maybe kind of see. Yeah, there we go. We'll do it this way. Alright, there we go. And I'm just going to do nice and slow. Alright, so we're through there. Let me find, I think it's in this container here. Yep. I'm going to use this tool here. It's a reaming tool to get to my final opening size. So the drill out of the way, and maybe bringing you back there. And what I'll do is I'll just use this, and when it fits this way, then we can put it in from the other side. And I got a little trick for that I'll show you too, but I'm going to go ahead, I think, and get the tape out of the way because we won't need that. It's just in the way. And what I'll do is I'll give it a few turns here, and then I'll test it. And I'll just keep doing that until it fits. Oh. one thing I don't like about that tool is the handle is not really fixed. Oh, we're getting really close. So maybe I'll just turn it by hand. Oh, there we go. Nice fit. Nice fit. Let's see if the other camera will, maybe the other camera will show it a little bit. Switch to the other camera. Hopefully not fight the glare too much. So here's the jack, you can see. So nice fit. Good. Exactly what we needed. And I'll show you how we're going to go about mounting this. Got this little thing that I made. This is just a piece of coat hanger here. And then on the end, can you see that? I've got one of those, it's a RCA type to 1/4 inch connector. So you'd take an RCA plug and you can plug it in here, and then it goes to 1/4 inch. And I had to take the shielding off to get it to go through the hole. But basically what I do is to just put that through this hole that I just made in the guitar, and I can reach with my hand, bring it there. Let me give you the overhead view. So there's the 1/4 inch plug, and then we'll just plug the jack onto the 1/4 inch plug. And then bring it out. Set that kind of in place there. You can move up here so you can kind of see maybe. Alright, and I don't know if you can see that, but there's the 1/4 inch jack, and then you can take the washer, put that on, kind of like so, take the nut, put it on like so, and start it with finger tight. Like that. Oh, pickup fell down in the guitar. That's what your sound you're hearing. And then I just tighten this up. Let's see. Find my little, got a little pair of little pliers here. Tighten that up. Again, snug, not over tight. Don't want to break anything. So there's that. Jack pulls out. And let me reach in here. I don't want that the pickup flopping around. And then I'll try to give you a view of it there. So there you go. There's 1/4 inch jack installed. It'll fit in there, and we'll kind of eyeball it, make sure we're straight across there. And just tighten up the screws. Hold the pickup in place. There we go. That's not going to go anywhere. Yeah, that's just not going to go anywhere. And that's just the right amount of cord for the inside. It's not going to make a a lot of noise. There's some debris inside where I drilled out the hole that I need to get out of there, so I'll do that before I put the strings on, but takes care of our pickup. Let's give it one more test just to be sure we're in good shape there. Yep, good shape. Good. All right, let me pause you. I'm going to get some strings on this guy here, and I'll be back with you, and we'll see how we do on the setup. Okay, let me bring you back. I know there's lots of other videos and all of that on stringing guitars, but man, I see it so many times. People bring me a guitar to restring or work on or whatever, and the strings are on incorrectly. So let me just share a couple of things about putting on strings. Number one, you always want your strings to wind off the post toward the center of the headstock. So as you're winding, let me see if I can get you a better, really can't, maybe just tip the guitar. You can see how the strings go toward the center of the headstock. I'll see them wrapped on the outside and around, this way and around this way. And then, so that's the first thing. The second thing, you want your winds to start and go from top of the post to the bottom of the post. And again, another thing that I see all the time are strings that get wound and the winds kind of go all over the place and on top of themselves and all that, and it really affects how the guitar stays in tune. So let me just show you how I go about getting like the right amount of winds around and all of that. So this is the A string. It's going to live here on this post, and so what I do is I put the string in the slot and then bring it over to the post where it's going to live. And then for the amount of string that I leave, I go 1 tuner and then 2 tuners. And so I just, okay, you got an estimation there. So there's my point. So 1 tuner, 2 tuners. And then through the hole, like so. And then I've got this winder that goes on my drill, and I just wind, and then I hold down on the string, and what that does is as it winds, it puts the winds going from top to the bottom. And there you go. Okay, back with you, and hopefully we're going to wrap this thing up here pretty quickly, this video. I'll need to just wipe this thing down a little bit before it goes back, dust it off. I leave the strings, I save till the end, cutting all of that off just in case I need to pull the strings back off. Just makes that easier. Alright, so again, got this bone saddle that I made and put in here. We're just going to measure everything, so let me grab the capo here and see how we did on this neck relief. And I'm hoping that we did something to the point where it's actually pulled the neck back a little bit straighter. So again, capo on the first fret, and then maybe that's a little easier for you to see, but capo on the first fret, I fret the body joint, which is here, and then because the truss rod adjusting screw is in there, but it ends, so it doesn't do anything down in here. That's why I fret the body joint. If that's why you wonder, or if you wonder why, that's why I do the body joint. So there's body joint, and then I check at the 7th fret. So that actually looks like it's done the job. If you remember, I had to really force this feeler gauge up under there, and I don't have to do that now. It's a snug 10, but I'm not having to force the feeler gauge up under there, so that should eliminate any of that buzzing. And there was a little bit if you played it hard. There was a little bit. I mean, everything worked, but if you played it hard, it buzzed a little bit. Let's see how we did on string height, because I made the new saddle. Let's see, we are at actually I need to bring it up. Maybe, hold on, I'll just check the other side. Maybe need to bring the base side up just a tad. It just looks like it's just under 5, but let me kind of turn around this way and see if I can play it and see how it does. Oh man, I really need to retune because those strings are stretchy. Not perfect, but it'll do. And where I was having, and I was trying to hold this where you can see, but maybe see my hand. But that's 5th fret, so and see, we're getting that little bit of, I don't know if you can hear that little bit of residual kind of buzz as the string vibrates. And that just may be because this side, this side of the saddle, it really measured more like 4/64. So I need to raise this just a touch. So I'm going to do that. But let me just jump you back on the overhead real quick. I got one other thing I need to do to this guitar before we're all done. Actually, now too, I've got to raise that. Just need to back off the string tension a little bit, and then raise that saddle just a little bit. All right, I need to put a strap button on here, and I like to use these Fender strap buttons. They work really well. I like how they're shaped. Don't really have any issues with any of the straps working with them or anything like that. Don't really have any issues with them at all. I like the ones that I order because they come with these little felt pads that go underneath so they don't scratch the guitar. So for now, I described this in one of the other videos that I did, but just for your benefit, how I mount this is I measure half the distance. So I'll take a measurement here, whatever this measurement is, and I'll go halfway, and then I'll measure this distance and go halfway, and that's where I drill. And so I'll find a drill bit that's roughly half the size of the screw, and so the screw is 135 thousandths. So we'll try to find a drill bit that's somewhere around 60-70 thousandths to drill a hole. Let me take a measurement here. And I think doing it this way, it balances the guitar well. You don't have to worry about the guitar falling forward, anything like that. Probably put some tape on here just to be on the safe side. If I mess up, whatever I mess up, I have to fix, right? So I'm going to try not to mess anything up. So let's see what we got. Roughly 4 inches. So let's see, where's my marker? So we're going to go with 2 inches, which is about there. And then from that point, I've got 1 inch and a quarter. So we'll go roughly, gonna go about right there. And hopefully I didn't block you too bad, but that's going to be our mark there. So let's see, gonna take the drill bit here and just kind of push in make a bit of an indent, and then we can get rid of the tape. All right, can you see the, bring it up to you. See that mark? That's where our screw is going to go. And I like to drill in at a bit of an angle. So probably going to have to put you there. What do I do with the drill? There it is. Let's see, I don't want to go in too much further than my screw. So I try to just adjust that if I can with how far I have the drill into. Alright, that should be close. Yep, that should be close. Alright, I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not, because I need to go kind of at an angle, which means I need to flip the guitar around. A bunch of crap out of my way here. And I'm going to go kind of at an angle. Kind of like that. Again, don't get in too much of a hurry. And with things like that, I do like to reverse the drill when I pull it back out as well. So there's our hole. The screw goes through the strap button, and then the felt pad goes on the end, and then we just screw it in. If it does give me issues going in, I'll put some wax on it, but most of the time they go in pretty well. I might have to find a different screwdriver. This one I don't like very much. Yeah, let's try this one. All right. And if you don't have it tight enough, this will actually spin. So we need to go in just a bit more with the screw. Oh, that's good. Good and tight. Alright, throw the screwdriver back out of the way. See if I can give you a little bit of a view of the strap button there. Can you see that? That's nice. Nice and tight. I'll never go anywhere. And reason I like it here, see if I can kind of show you. Reason I like it here where my finger is I'm holding the strap button on. I'm holding the the other strap button on that end of the guitar, and then I'm holding the strap button here with my finger, and it really balances the guitar. If you put the strap button here, the guitar has a tendency to want to fall forward, and just on top here just doesn't work. So under here is, in my opinion, if you're going to install a strap button, that's the way to do it. And again, what I do is half the distance that way, half the distance that way, and you're in good shape. So there we go. Strap button is installed, everything's done and working. We need to tune one more time, give it a wipe down, but other than that, yeah, we're in good shape. I think I'm gonna call this project done, and I hope everyone had a really good Christmas, and thanks for joining me in the workshop today, and I'll be back with you for another project. And if you haven't, please click that subscribe button if you haven't done that already, and give the video a thumbs up, and there's a little bell there. If you click that, you'll get notified when I upload a video. I try to do that once a week, and around the holidays and all that is a little bit more difficult, but get back on track after the holidays with videos every week and all of that. But appreciate the thumbs up and subscribe if you can, and I'll see you next time in the workshop.